Good evening, everyone. Sorry. Okay. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to welcome you to the Otsego City Council meeting. Tonight is Monday, April 13th. Audra, can you have the record show that our city attorney, city planner, city engineer, along with all council members and our assistant city administrator and our city administrator are present. At this time, I'll ask you all to join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Our first item of business this evening is our open forum. This is the portion of the meeting where you can come to the podium, state your name and address, and limit comments to 5 minutes or less. Would anyone like to speak at this time?
Kathy Coles, 15613 90th Street Northeast. There's my monthly picture.
Dan, any updates?
Mayor, Rice Companies, who was the contractor that Coburn's used to build the store, reached out for information about what they needed to do to address this. We provided that. So we've sent them an email asking for a schedule with the expectation that it would be done by the end of the month, given that winter is clearly over at this point. So
let's fingers crossed.
We'll see if I see you next month.
Thank you.
All right. Any other comments? All right. We will close the open forum and move on to consider our agenda for approval. Does anyone have anything that they would like to add or delete?
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Ryan?
I would like to add an item to the agenda for the appointment of a commissioner to the advisory commission. We can make that item 6.1.
Great.
And with that, I would move to approve the agenda as amended.
Second. Motion by Ryan, seconded by Michelle. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Moving on to item 3, our consent agenda. A motion would be in order.
Madam Mayor?
Yes, Ryan?
I move to approve the consent agenda as written.
Second.
Motion by Ryan, seconded by Tina. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Moving on to our law enforcement, item 4.1, the Wright County Sheriff's Office Annual Activity Report. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor
Hey there.
and Council. Lieutenant Jeff McMackins, the Wright County Sheriff's Office. Just have a quick update or kind of overview on our 2025 annual report as it relates to Otsego. Pretty informal, so if at any point anybody has any questions, just jot them out or chuck a pencil at my head or something.
We're not going to do that.
Otherwise, Lieutenant Russ Erkins and I spent some time earlier this year going through it and updating it. It had been quite a number of years since this annual report had been changed or updated at all. So we were a little late to the game getting it out here, but so we were making some changes. So if you have any thoughts or suggestions for feedback, we'd love to hear them. It'll probably continue to be kind of a little bit of an evolution every year. We weren't able to get everything done that we were hoping to get done this year, but if as you're paging through, notice any information that maybe you want that's not there or something's not clear, then provide some feedback to me or Sergeant Altman's, and we can certainly make some improvements for next year. One of the main things that was changed is we added a bunch of historical information. Our prior year's reports were basically a list of all the different types of calls and then, how many of that call we had every year. But it was hard to know, was that more than last year or less than last year? Is that a high amount, a low amount, or what? So for all that information, we included 5 years worth of data there. So you can kind of see, is it trending up, trending down, anything that we need to be concerned about or anything out of the norm. So hopefully it's a bit more useful, but I would absolutely love some feedback. So kind of the 10,000-foot overview here. Our total calls for service was up about 5% from last year. And our reports was up about 8%. That's CGCFS, so that's citizen generated calls for service. That was up a little over 8%. My next slide here goes into what that is. That's probably something we haven't talked about, but they're citizen generated calls for service. So that is when somebody picks up the phone, flags us down on the side of the road, or somehow gets a hold of the sheriff's office and initiates some sort of service. That excludes all deputy initiated stuff. There's no traffic stops in there. If we're just on patrol, locate a suspicious vehicle, that's not included in there. This is the number that we track and use, kind of just shows overall growth and the need of service. And then it's a good indicator for us on staffing levels. So we do have a staffing formula that plays into citizen generated calls for service. There are a lot of other factors that we consider in our recommendations for staffing, but this is kind of a good baseline, gets us in the ballpark, and then, geography, any particular unique features of that city may also play into our recommendation. But no surprise, Otsego's been growing, so consequently we have some more calls for service. As far as staffing goes today, we're sitting pretty good. I don't foresee any changes in the super near term future here. We're still sitting okay, but as we build more houses, those calls will still go up. So what has caused our increase, or what are we responding more to? This is certainly not a comprehensive list, but gets us a good majority of what that 8% increase comprises of. Certainly mental health, check welfare. We've been seeing that on the rise for a number of years. It continues to rise. Back in 2023, we did add a co-responder unit. That is a deputy with some extra mental health training, as well as a social worker paired together. They ride around in the squad car all day, every day, and respond to these types of calls and try to get people connected to resources. That has been a very impactful position so far. Certainly one we plan to continue and plan to expand when we're able to do that. Civil complaints, frauds have been up. Certainly countywide, probably state and nationwide. We've seen that trend. Juvenile activity was up. We had a lot of issues in and around parks this year with just kind of juvenile mischief. School no park was a common location for us. Shopliftings are up, as well as burglaries. On one of the next slides here, you'll see burglaries went from 7 to 13, almost doubling. That is almost entirely attributed to a number of storage locker thefts or burglaries. That was, again, not unique to Otsego. It's been kind of this north metro area. There's seemingly been a group going around and targeting those storage lockers. So if I exclude those from the report, then I think we sit right back at 7 burglaries for the year. That is still an active investigation. I just talked with the detective today. They actually just in the last couple of weeks executed a couple search warrants related to that. Making progress, but don't have anything solved quite yet. A lot of traffic related calls were up. Crashes, stop arm violations, parking complaints were up, as well as medicals. Here's just a summary of some of the more common types of crime, and you'll see the burglaries jump from 7 to 13, but pretty consistently we're in that 7 to 9 range. 2023 we had 17. That was the year we had a group of kids breaking into all the new construction homes and damaging those homes, and that was the reason that was so high that year. Otherwise, pretty consistently sit right in that 7 to 9 range. Court order violations, criminal damage to properties were down. And let's see, thefts were up. No homicides, no robberies, so that's always good news. Overall crime at the bottom there, We're up from the last 2 years, but still kind of as a 5-year average, kind of sitting right there, right around average. So no huge trends there. Traffic incidences. Our parking complaints only 92, but that's about a 50% jump from prior years. Crashes were up about 12%. Traffic stops up 15. UIs were up 37%. 37% is probably more than the average, but we have seen just generally a pretty significant increase in the number of DUIs. Specifically in Otsego, we have a couple of deputies working here that are pretty apt for that enforcement and have a knack for picking those out. The citation number here, that's just total citations. It's not limited to traffic citations. So they include like trespassing or theft citations in there, but overall citations were up about 28% year over year.
I have a question
Yeah.
back to parking complaints. So that would be like neighbors calling this in, or is this deputies out patrolling and there's parking violations?
It can be both.
Okay.
Most of them are probably going to be called in, but could be both.
So is this winter parking violations? Okay, this is
I
just,
specifically excluded the winter parking stuff.
okay,
So this is, I know we had for a little bit there last year on the west side of the city, we had a resident that was calling in neighbors, like parking in front of fire hydrants and things like that, mailboxes. I know in particular, they generated at least a few of those. But that's the type of stuff we're looking at.
thank you.
Yep. And then just an overview of the number of cases that our criminal investigations division handled in Otsego here. Our detective unit handled 114. Our special investigations unit handled 8. That is our plainclothes detectives, primarily focused on narcotics, but to kind of help out where a plainclothes detective would be needed. Our major crimes investigation unit, that is a fancy name for our crime scene unit. They did 16 cases, digital forensics did 19, and our school resource officers handled 61. One in the middle school and now at Kaleidoscope as well. And that's all I got. Happy to answer any questions if you have any.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Bree.
I just had a quick question, and it's kind of on city comparison.
Yeah.
Where I noticed, like under theft, it compares Otsego to Monticello and St. Michael. And they're significantly less population, I guess, those two cities compared to us. Is the theft for Monticello, is that kind of attributed to their business structure? Like they have bigger stores and
Correct. Yeah. In Monticello, that, they had 244. The vast majority of that's going to be retail theft.
okay.
Yep.
Interesting.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Ryan.
I kind of have a question along those lines too. If you could, what differentiates a burglary from a theft?
Basically unauthorized entry. But a little bit more nuanced than that in certain cases. But so if I walked into Target, I'm generally allowed to be in Target. But if I walk out with an item, that's just theft. But if I wait till Target closes at 3 a.m, break in, steal something, that becomes a burglary now.
Okay. And does the owner of the property have to be not there for it to be a burglary? Does it become something else at that point?
No, so that can change the degree of burglary. So like a first degree versus third degree or second degree burglary, whether or not somebody's present.
Okay.
But there's no overarching, somebody has to be present or not for burglary.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
you.
it.
Moving on to item 5.1, Meridian Fields Summergate Companies LLC. I will turn this over to our city planner.
Thank you, Mayor. council members. We have Brian Tucker of Summergate Development here tonight, representing this application. It's located northwest of Odine Avenue and 70th Street, County Road 38. There's 4 parcels included in the proposed development, totaling about 62 acres. This is just south of the fire department site, across Odine from Wildflower or Meadows of Otsego. There's some rural single-family homes in Lindbar Estates also on that side. The area to the west is largely cultivated fields. There's a few homes in that direction, but this is essentially the west boundary of the East Sewer District. So we're at a line in the sand, basically. The applications include a zoning map amendment to rezone to allow for the proposed subdivision, a preliminary plat of 141 single-family lots, and a conditional use permit regarding averaging of minimum lot requirements. The comprehensive plan guides the site for low-density residential development, which is to be single-family neighborhoods. We also encourage through the comprehensive plan a mix of lot area and widths to provide a variety of homes within individual neighborhoods, as well as the city's overall housing supply. As I said, 141 single-family lots. The mean and median lot areas are over 9,000 square feet, as encouraged by the comprehensive plan. They're doing 65-foot and 60-foot wide lots, again, encouraging somewhat a variety in house sizes. All the setbacks for the R5 district are complied with the preliminary plat to provide a building envelope. And along both Odine Avenue and 70th Street, there is a 65-foot setback that allows space for landscaping to be planted in those rear yards to mitigate traffic impacts from those areas. The city engineer's office reviewed the utility plans as well as stormwater management, and all of those comply with the requirements of the zoning ordinance and subdivision ordinance, as well as the engineering manual. There's 5 outlots that would all be deeded to the city. And with park dedication, this area is approximately about a half-mile south of Amber Meadows Park, or Friedrich Park, excuse me. Looking to the future, to the west of the site, there would be additional parks developed in that direction when that area occurs, more centered between Odine Avenue and future Nashua Avenue to provide maximum service area. So this development would pay a cash fee in lieu of lot, or in lieu of land dedication. There is an exception parcel that's approximately 4 acres in size at the northeast corner of the property. That's one of the property owners' farmsteads that was originally part of the overall development. They do have a number of farm animals on the property, and we discussed with them after the planning commission their interest in keeping those farm animals at least through this season as part of the 4-H program, those being the pigs that are currently on the property. Given that they're keeping the barn and everything, it's not going to be disruptive for them to have chickens or goats or things like that at scale on the property going forward. So we've revised the conditions of approval since the planning commission to allow for that. The developer did discuss that with them prior to tonight's meeting, and my understanding is that everyone's in agreement with the language that's being presented to the council tonight. So city staff is recommending approval of the application based on compliance or consistency with the comprehensive plan and compliance with the city's development regulations. Planning Commission held a public hearing last week on April 6th. There were no public comments and the hearing was closed. They did recommend the city council approve the application subject to the conditions recommended by city staff. So for your action tonight, we have ordinance 2026-05 amending the zoning map and a resolution 2026-32 approving the conditional use permit and preliminary plat, which includes the aforementioned 17 conditions.
Does the applicant wish to comment?
Good evening, Mayor, council members. Brian Tucker with Summergate Development. One thing I would point out is that the 141 lots that was referenced does include the homestead lot. And then there's one lot that will be removed to allow that access point going north. So the total new lots moving forward would be 139. Otherwise, appreciate your consideration. Happy to answer any questions if you have.
Dan, can you highlight which one is being removed
So-
on the map?
There's this outlot E right off of this street.
Okay.
It was initially shown as a trail connection.
Mhm.
And when we were discussing with the developer, because we didn't know certainty as to what the city's use of the property in the north should be, we said we'll add a condition stating that it needs to be widened to a street connection so that if the city sells that property for development, there is connectivity between the neighborhoods. Otherwise, if the city elects to not to sell it for development, use it for some other public purpose that potentially could just be changed to a trail corridor and a lot put back in that location. So it basically, the way we have the preliminary plat presented plus the condition, it allows some flexibility going forward on that area.
Thank you. All right, questions?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Corey.
Dan, do you think you could bring it up on the map? I think I know where it is, but just want to make sure.
The property.
Yeah. Kind of right adjacent to the fire station, right behind it.
This is the fire station.
Okay. Okay, I see it.
My comments were going to be, I appreciate you working with Mr. Tucker and the landowners with the animals, because that was a concern. And obviously, they've farmed it for many years and they've had these animals. And so that was a big concern for the family about keeping them for 4-H. So I supported that. So I appreciate that you reworded that that's an option for them and that other animals can be there in the parks.
It obviously works because, you know, if this is approved and goes forward, there aren't going to be any homes occupied there this year anyway. So it's no harm, no foul to allow the pigs to stay.
There was one other question, and I'm sure you can, it talked about what side would development start?
Mr. Tucker.
We've looked at a phasing plan, and initially we'd probably look on that east side where we'd have the connection from Modine through the site and out to the county road.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. It just was not addressed, or if it was, I didn't hear it at the planning commission. So thank you.
Yep.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Corey?
Dan and Ron, I know I read both of these, but is this the one where there was an existing tree line that was going to be preserved?
The planning
Mayor,
commission.
so there is a tree line that's along Odine Avenue. And the planning commission did ask about that. It's going to depend on the grading for the site,
Oh, okay.
whether those trees remain or not. Obviously, it's in the developer's interest to keep the trees if they can, because otherwise they're going to plant new ones. So,
Okay. All right.
People like mature trees.
Yeah.
Any other questions, comments? Otherwise, a motion would be in order.
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Ryan?
I move to adopt ordinance 2026-05, amending the zoning map, and adopt a resolution 2026-32, adopting findings of fact and approving a planned unit development, conditional use permit, and preliminary plat of Meridian Fields, subject to conditions as presented.
Motion by Ryan, seconded by Tina. Are there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you. All right, moving on to item 5.2 is 5650 Queens Avenue Industrial, which is known as Canvas Craft.
thank you, Mayor. Canvas Craft owns this property. Their main property is to the west across Queens Avenue. But this site was originally built in 1969. It was annexed to Otsego in 1994. It was in Frankfort Township. So you have Canvas Craft's main building to the west. To the south, you have two warehouse buildings. And to the north and east, southeast, you have two subdivisions that were originally approved in Frankfort Township and developed in the 80s initially. The application is a zoning map amendment. When the property was annexed to Otsego, it was put in the R3 residential zoning district, even though the existing use of the property was industrial. We just never corrected that. With this coming forward and expansion, it's appropriate to make that correction. And then the expansion of the existing building basically requires site and building plan review to make sure it complies with the zoning ordinance. The comprehensive plan guides the property for industrial uses, reflecting its historic use. It basically also is to continue the character of this area. It was looked at as part of the 98 comprehensive plan as an opportunity to introduce lower cost building opportunities into the city for smaller businesses and employment generators. And again, we're going to change the zoning map to the I3 Special Industrial District, which is the area or the district established for that area of the city. The existing building is approximately 6,700 square feet. They're going to make a 12,900 square foot addition. It's basically all used for processing or warehouse purposes as part of Canvas Crafts building or business. The exterior finish matches the existing structure. This area allows for metal sided buildings consistent with those that had been built under Frankfort Township jurisdiction. The height of the building is 22 feet, which is within the 35-foot allowance. The setback or the site plan provides for setbacks as required by the zoning ordinance. In fact, they're more than double in all locations, especially to the north and to the southeast. The nice thing about the way this existing building sets up and the expansion is the building itself becomes the screening for any activity on the site from the homes to the north. They do have adequate parking on site. There's also the ability, if there's a change in use in the future with the size of the property, to add parking if needed in the future. There wasn't a landscaping plan initially. Looking at the aerial photograph, you can see all the homes surrounding this have existing mature trees. There was a comment at the public hearing about the need for some additional landscaping or concerns about potential lighting. And that was in the area that city staff recommended some additional plantings be made. The property owner is agreeable to that and is working on a landscape plan to be submitted with building permit. All the other requirements of the site comply with the zoning ordinance, including stormwater management. Utilities for the site are handled by a septic system and on-site wells, so no connections to public facilities. Again, with this application, city staff recommends approval based on consistency with the comprehensive plan and compliance with the zoning ordinance. The Planning Commission held their public hearing last week, April 6th. There was the one person that spoke regarding the concerns regarding landscaping and exterior lighting. Otherwise, the Planning Commission closed that hearing and voted unanimously to recommend approval subject to 10 conditions. And so for City Council, the action this evening, we have ordinance 2026-06 amending the zoning map and resolution 2026-33 approving site and building plans.
Thank you. Does the applicant wish to comment?
I don't have a whole lot of comments. Thank you very much. Smooth process. Our business is growing. Kind of the same, but just more of it. So appreciate the opportunity to do that. And we're been talking to the neighbors around us too to address their concerns about screening and lighting. And so I think we're in good shape.
It's great to hear that your
great.
business is growing.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right. Council, questions for staff or the applicant? Corey?
Madam Mayor, thank you. Dan, apologize. I was gonna get a hold of you earlier and ask you, so I was reading about the off-street parking. What exactly is that ordinance? It said it will comply, but does that mean they could park on Queens in the event for unloading and stuff?
Mayor, so there is space on site to circulate trucks through the property.
Okay.
They have enough parking on site based on the requirements of the zoning ordinance for the 14 spaces that are required. They're showing 20.
Okay.
Plus there's space. We basically calculated it only on a warehouse or manufacturing standard. So if you switch to offices, that requires about 4 times the parking as a warehouse does. So there would be obviously a need for more parking spaces on site, but there is space to add that if there is a change in use. So
Okay.
The concern here is that they're adding so significantly to the building. You don't want to end up boxing the site into something that can't be reused for something in the future. Obviously, from an economic development standpoint, having Canvas Craft expand in places beneficial to the community, is beneficial to Canvas Craft, but we always look to ensure that there's flexibility going forward.
Sure. Well, I think it's great you guys were proactively reaching out to neighbors and stuff. I know over there is, it's so close.
I'll just
So,
turn the lights on.
yeah, there you go. Dan, just kind of one related question, since this was, the property that we got through Frankfurt as part of that annex. Do we have any other businesses that fall under that? I was just curious.
Everything basically south of 65th Street. So, or 60th Street, excuse me. That was that former Frankfurt Township area. The only businesses that have developed were the two south of this, Focal Point, Carpet, and NCS.
Mhm.
And there's been some additions to the other structures and the conversion of the one to the exterior extra space storage. But otherwise, that entire area developed under Frankfurt Township.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions or comments?
Madam Mayor,
Yes, Ryan.
I move to adopt ordinance 2026-06, amending the zoning map, and adopt resolution 2026-33, adopting findings of fact and approving site and building plans subject to conditions as presented for PID 118-802-021300.
Second.
Motion by Ryan, seconded by Tina. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes.
Thank you.
All right, moving on to item 6.1 is our advisory commission appointment. A motion would be in order. Corey?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to make a motion to adopt resolution 2026-34, appointing commissioners to the advisory commission.
Second.
Motion by Corey, seconded by Tina. Is there any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. And Audrey, you'll make sure you reach out to her.
I will.
Audra, could you guys let the chairperson know too?
Do that.
Thank you.
All right, we are under city council reports and updates. Does anyone have anything? Corey?
Madam Mayor, thank you. I got a couple updates. Our HPC meeting with our new commissioner will be tomorrow night, 7 p.m., City Hall. We're going to be working on the time capsule cemetery tour, finishing up the 1914 bar discussion we're having, and the fire station display that the commission's working on. I also attended a couple of not groundbreakings, but ribbon cuttings. April 3rd, Councilmember Dunlap, myself, and Administrator Flaherty attended the ribbon cutting for Les Schwab. We thought it was a great little tour there and walkthrough. And then this past Wednesday on the 8th, I attended the grand opening for Everbrook Academy. And city staff was there for the ribbon cutting earlier. So I want to welcome them to our community.
Absolutely. Thank you. Anyone else have any other updates?
Madam Mayor,
That's right.
the planning commission met last week and they recommended approval for Meridian Fields, Canvas Craft, and the Well House 3 plans that were all considered tonight. They also recommended Foss Swim School PUD, which will come to the council at a later time. The next planning commission meeting is going to be held, or is scheduled to be held, on May 18th.
Dan, is that
That's
true?
correct.
Okay. I was looking for him to. And tomorrow night we have public safety. So that'll be here at 6:30 in the front. If no one else has anything, then we'll move on to staff reports and updates. Sabrina.
Thank you, Mayor. Just one of the quick updates that I'm sure council was waiting for was we were intending to have the fire chief hiring recommendation on tonight. We are pending just one more pre-employment screening, so we have waited to bring that back. So likely on the 27th, or possibly if council's interested in at that, was it the 22nd council meeting for approval of hire. So just to update on there, we should be moving forward with that. Candidates excited. We're excited as well.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Adam?
Mayor, Council, thank you. Reminder, we have a meeting next Wednesday. Local Board of Appeals scheduled at 6 p.m. Staff would potentially propose addition of fire chief hiring to that pending the results of pre-employment screening. And we may also add the wrap up to the goal setting session as well to that meeting if council's agreeable to adding those on to that special meeting. And then County Road 137 project, there's some minor work starting this week. Per the county, the full closure date is to be determined, but is expected before the end of this month. I don't have any other updates. So.
Do you want to, is everyone up free on the 22nd?
Okay.
Okay.
So we'll just keep that local board of appeal then.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you. Audra?
Thank you, Mayor. I have no updates.
All right. Dave? Welcome.
Thank you. Spring break was nice and I have no other.
You look tan.
Thank you. It's already wearing off, but I'll take the count.
All right, Dan.
Mayor, no update.
Okay, Ron. Okay. So you're kind of retiring, but not retiring. What if we say no? Just kidding. We've got a few more months. Use the word warning.
Warning.
That's a weird word.
The true,
Planning and.
Yeah.
that's a true engineer. They have to look at the negative side of it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ron.
All right, Sergeant Altman's. We need to bring some uplift.
That's just.
Yeah. Don't tell us you're leaving either.
I got my doom and gloom computer. Here we go.
It's still not dead yet.
Kind of
You
bringing up
ignored
to the
me.
point.
That said your computer's still not dead yet.
It works great. I'm telling you. A couple things with the road closures. I think, at least fortunately with the road closure, especially with like County Road 137, we kind of know what to expect because it got closed last year. So we're kind of preparing for that and kind of expecting the different types of issues, kind of where to set the enforcement. Again, we've tried to have the right conversations with the right people on how that enforcement looks. It really gets difficult, trying to find the gray area of like, well, this person's allowed to drive through, but this person's not. So, different signage and how we're going to work that. So we're going to try to get ahead of it, but we anticipate there's going to be issues. We know we're going to get phone calls on it. So we're just going to prepare for it. I know Corey brought it up the last meeting, e-bikes. You can go to any law enforcement Facebook page and everybody's blasting out the different rules and regulations across the metro area because literally I think every single agency is dealing with it in some capacity. So, the Wright County Sheriff's Office isn't trying to, be the first to figure it out necessarily. I don't know who's going to be able to figure it out. Again, my big thing is when I'm speaking with the residents about it is I really don't want our department to, you know, be in the habit of like just blanketly pulling over 13-year-olds on bikes. So we're really trying to take it as a case by case basis. I know where the deputies took a call today, you know, specifically it's these two people. This is where they came from. Okay, we can address that. I can send a deputy to a house to go have a chat with some kids that like, hey, you can't be driving through people's yards or whatever the case is. If it's just blanket, hey, there's just a lot of people out on bikes. Again, I don't want to. A perfect example. I think there was a St. Michael Facebook post that got blown up by a resident because the deputy was trying to be proactive and pulled over somebody on a e-bike, and half and half, right? You go half like, well, they're doing the enforcement, the other half is what are we doing? We're pulling over kids for being outside. So it's tough, right? Really difficult position for us to be in, and we're trying to find that balance. But like I said, we're taking the calls, and if we have to go specifically speak with individual juveniles or specific people, then we can certainly do that, and hopefully we can pass the word on. I did meet with Wyndham Gardens and their water park. I met with all their lifeguards yesterday, kind of got them on board with a couple different things as far as their emergency response. And so I got a couple, it was interesting, I guess, hear from their side of things on what they perceive to be the correct thing. So making some notes for my future meetings with all the other businesses that are popping up, whether it be, Foss would be a perfect example when they come to town eventually, have a conversation with how they're going to do things and as it relates to water emergencies, etc. So did tell them, it's like, well, here's how things work right now, but that'll be flipped in January of 2027 because we're gonna have something a little bit different. So pulled out the map for them and showed them kind of what to expect. So, all right, the sheriff's office is taking enough of your time tonight. So
I have a question.
Yes.
So, as you said, last year when 137 was closed, we had the issue.
Like Marks Avenue and then the dirt
Yes.
road 63rd.
Yes.
So
what is going to be the plan?
well, so Dan or Ron, you may have to help me out with exactly because there's terms staging. I don't know what that word means, but I think of where some of where the signage is going to be placed. I think seems to be it's going to shift a little bit, and we're going to change that up. It sounds like the county's going to have signage in a different location previously. Come on, guys, you got to help me
Okay.
out, please.
Ron, what do you got?
Dan, let me hang. He's like, I got nothing. He's just let me hang.
So that will be open then for residents.
think that's what you were trying to discuss. Well, and I think one of the other pieces is my understanding that MnDOT got either between MnDOT or the contractor for the I-94 project, that we have an assurance that they're not going to be closing County Road 19 at the bridge like they did last year. That
Right,
turned into something completely different for us that we didn't expect.
right.
So that became a major issue when all of a sudden we had random closures that we weren't even aware of. So it sounds like that communication has been relayed that they're going to really work on make sure that doesn't happen again. So.
Good. Yep.
Yeah.
Sure.
Question, this would probably be for Ron. I mean, Jason, you may know.
Ron's solving my problems for me. So,
Are they, I mean, this might be a silly question, but I just want to pass there today, right by Emma's, it almost looks they're digging stuff up there. I mean, they took away the grass and everything. I know there's some lots there for sale, but I was like, are they like adding I don't know, a temporary road or, and is that what they're doing on the Albertville side too? Cause they graded all of that down. So I just.
well, a temporary ramp covering up on the north side.
Okay.
Can you pull up a map, Dan?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not bad.
We're up.
Okay,
So you would just get into Emma's?
okay, cause they're starting to dig there. Big time. Yeah. Okay, 94. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so because I-37 will be closed, they're gonna have that, like, just like you said, that slip will go right into Emma's gas station, that's how they'll get in there from that dance studio. Is that correct? Okay. Okay. Okay.
Through here.
Come on, man.
Dan's the planner, not the engineer.
Okay.
Oh, so then you can get on there. Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay. Yes. Yeah.
I think that's the street.
Okay. Almost.
Hmm.
Sure. Okay.
Mayor, council, once we know the closure date, we have the staging plan being referenced and we'll post that on the website for residents and social media alerts as well. So
Are you gonna use Dan's drawings?
no, we have the actual staging.
Staging. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Brett. That's helpful.
It's gonna be a little bit of a mess for you guys.
Honestly, from an emergency vehicle standpoint, it actually isn't too much of a challenge because fortunately it's the very southwest part of Otsego. So the Otsego cars are going to be coming west on 137 or they'll be coming down 38 to
Sure.
McIver. that typically isn't a problem. The fire department figured it out pretty quick last year when they had to go through. They could take 63rd and they had the sign set up in a way, so that worked out. Alina didn't seem to have too much of a challenge either. They would just typically just take the formal detour, so it actually wasn't too bad. I was kind of expecting maybe worse with taking different routes to get emergency vehicles around, but we figured it out pretty quick.
There was the issue with school buses last year
I think
too.
school buses was a challenge with trying to get stuff.
Okay. So they've been updated, I assume, in all these meetings also. Do we know?
We can make sure they will.
I mean, obviously, you
To
have two
to everybody's point, I think we're all kind of waiting for that first.
Sure.
See what it all looks like before we send it
Okay.
out, because that'll be Murphy's Law. We'll send it out. Here's what the plan is, and then we gotta make a slight change.
Sure.
Any other topics I can bring up that's gonna?
No. I mean, it's just a major one, so.
Yeah.
Corey, what do you got?
I was just gonna say, do you get to drive the old Crown Vic with your old computer?
Yes,
Sweet.
at some point I'm gonna do it.
Come tomorrow night.
That'd be cool.
Oh, you should bring it to Touch It Truck.
Last time I was in a Crown Vic, the engine didn't last very long.
I didn't know.
Crown Vic.
All right.
I'm gonna walk away before I get more glares.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.